Welcome back to Serenity Cycle Works. I am Hawk Stachio, not Hug Stachio, Eric. Hawk Stachio, like Tomahawk, maybe. I can't think of any other Hawk references right now, but you know, Hawk, caw. Anyway, this is Serenity Cycle Works. I think this is Project Oilhead Part 5. Right now I'm in the back in the scrap pile looking for something that I can use to convert the subframe into like a luggage rack on the Project Oilhead. I found some of those metal building hold downs, maybe that. And don't mind me fast forwarding right there real quick as I was walking. Despite what the missus says, I wasn't walking like a fairy. I was trying to not trip on the wet logs, and I was trying to push my way through the spider webs. Now I know you're all thinking, no doubt, that makes sense. But there I found, and I forgot I had that, but I had gotten a piece of gas pipe from an old RV trailer, and it's just about the same size as the subframe on the BMW, so I might make it work. I found a couple of old, I don't know, bowls from like an old smoker. I was thinking that I could use those to put parts in or something. I'm not really sure. Now, this is my trailer that I built, but now it's kind of a storage for the wood. Anyway, I need that piece of wood so I can put my tubing bender on something. It needs to be mounted, and I figured that's the best way. Mount it on that. But that's a long walk carrying that stuff, and I didn't really feel like carrying it back, so I figured I'd just load it up and go. But if you look carefully, the dogs go leaping out of the back of the truck, which is not good because it's real early in the morning and that grass is way too tall and way too wet. So I didn't want them in my truck. They wouldn't get in the back, and now you see Earl standing on the hood messing with me. So I opened the door, tell him to get down, and there he is. So I'm waiting until I see him in my mirrors. I see him behind, so I start going, only lo and behold, Earl jumps in front of me again, causing me grief. So I said, okay, fine, get in the truck. And now Dioji doesn't want to get in the truck. But she does. She brings all the mud and wet with her, but that's okay. It's always something. We got him in the truck. Of course, now you notice Dioji's no longer in the picture. She took off running somewhere. Don't worry, she comes back, but she went, hopped the fence, went somewhere. I don't know. It is what it is. Anyway, in today's episode, we are going to start, well, I say we as in me and y'all by association since you're actually watching this, but it starts to do the subframe. I was going to hopefully weld on the subframe, but you know, after 5 hours I just didn't feel like doing it anymore. But I got it prepped and kind of going. Figured I'd try a new view here, just doing a little shop cleanup. That's all the brake fluid and oil that had been leaking that I put the oil dry on. Figured it's cleanup time, so I start something new. And I also don't want to be welding around flammable liquids. I do have to, excuse me, warn you as a little, I guess, warning. I am trying a new rye whiskey tonight, and I don't recall what it is, but it's rather sharp, so if my voice changes unexpectedly, I'm trying to have a little bit right now, but it's something else. Anyway, so you see that I just pulled my tubing bender out, and now you understand. Oh, I found some binoculars. Hello. Oh, it's just Earl. Kind of spooky up close like that. Anyway, I'm going to mount my tubing bender to this plywood so I have the base, but I need the dies, excuse me, I need the dies for this tubing bender, and I'm looking all over. I finally found them, and that Vespa is really hard to put on a kickstand. It's just easier. Metal fender dies. To lay it on its side.
Dioji, Earl!
Ooh. Yeah, that's for real. That's no lie. I'm probably going to have nightmares tonight. And no, I'm not afraid of spiders, but that was nasty. Anyway, I refer to the Stella as a Vespa, which I know it's not necessarily correct, but It was built in the same factory that had built Vespas at one point, because they had built Vespas in India as well as other places. But in India, between I think it was 1984 and 1999, I believe. And after this company in India had a falling out with Vespa, they kept building them on the same equipment with the same parts and everything. Well, they actually used an upgraded engine, better than what the Italians were using, but they called it Stella, and Genuine imported it. I think it's made by Star. Nonetheless, I still call it a Vespa. I put Vespa parts on it, but I know that's wrong. Actually, usually I refer to it as a Vesper because it's not a real Vespa. Anyway, I had a little bit of trouble keeping them bolts in, so I ended up putting the nuts on them. Every time I put the board down, they'd fall out. Oh, if you don't notice, there is that jalapeno pepper hidden. I don't know if it's going to be making an appearance in next week's episode because it's probably pretty close to the point of being rotten. It's also came to my attention, Tyler, that it's not called a jalapeno. Apparently I was wrong. I guess the correct pronunciation is jalapeno. So, yes, I will hide my jalapeno in the videos as long as I can, but the second it starts to rot, it's going out back. Maybe it can grow me a jalapeno bush, or a plant, or a tree. I don't really know what you would call a jalapeno. I think it's just a bush. Nonetheless, it's a little Easter egg until then. I had to keep the bay door shut for a while because when we were out in the back, a pack of wild dogs that lives back there, I counted at least 3 of them. They were out there terrorizing us. And since they were running back there, I didn't want them to come up and get us. But after I felt it was safe, I could open the door again. But they were kind of unsavory looking. I don't know, they might be friendly to the dogs. They might not be friendly to people, or vice versa, or none of the above, or all of the above. Who knows? But there is a lady 2 doors down that does a quasi-animal rescue. I'm not really sure. She brings them in off the street. She fixes them, and then she keeps them. And she has about 50 or so here. And I don't know if they're friendly or not friendly, but they all just... Oh, yep, I dropped my grinder there. Figures. Anyway, and then to make matters worse, I couldn't get that cord untangled, but I fast forwarded that. Anyway, those dogs run wild and loose, and oh, yep, that happened. It is what it is. That's kind of how the whole day had been going up until this point. But it's always something. Ain't no worries. Just a little tiny setback. Anyway, so I used a cut-off wheel, cut off those stuff I marked off the other day that I didn't want. Now I'm taking a grinding disc and grinding them smooth. I thought I had a flapper disc, like a sanding disc. I couldn't find one. I'll need to go get one. And there is a spot where I overcut and I nicked the frame, so I'm going to have to put a little weld in there and then grind it back down. It didn't go through the frame, but it's just a gouge. But I don't know. I'd feel safer just welding it good in. Oh, yep. That happened again. Figures. Anyway, you know, if this was easy, everybody would do it. And these things are coming to expect. At least this camera is really taking a beating. Unfortunately, I guess I was grinding a little too close to the camera, and I don't know, I have welding burns or grinding burns in the lens of the camera. I tried cleaning it off with some with polish, rubbing compound and polish. Didn't really work, but it seems to be recording okay. Here I'm just putting a little spray paint on to cover up the bare metal pieces. Don't want it to rust prematurely. And now I noticed my camera lens is all messed up. I was trying to think, oh, maybe I could scrape them away like little pieces of metal that were embedded, but I guess they just melted into there. Oh well, it is what it is. It still works. And from this angle, it looks like it's actually working pretty good, so I'll keep using it until I end up breaking it again some other way. I don't know. So, aside from the very back of the subframe, I got everything cut off I wanted to have cut off, except for maybe possibly one tab in the front, which I mark. But aside from that, I think it's time to start building the subframe, but I decided I wanted to wait until I get whatever tank I am going to put on there, because I kind of want it to flow kind of more of a straight line, and I think it'll be easier to do it once I see the tank on there. We'll see. Anyway, this is about it for this video, so make sure you tune in next time for part 6. Not really sure what that's going to consist of, but we'll see. Thanks for watching.